Uh, no, it's fine. Okay, what is a cough? Cough is basically a physiological mechanism that serves to clear the respiratory passage of foreign material and excess secretion. Everybody knows that cough is a physiological process, and this is required in the body to basically uh, uh, to evacuate the foreign particles of foreign material. So not, this is a normal process. Whenever there is a problem with the respiratory passage, any foreign particle that comes into this passage, into the respiratory passage, the cough is a general mechanism to remove this material from the body. So the first thing that we have to keep in the mind that this is a physiological process, so you should not suppress this indiscriminately. Means you should understand, okay, what are the different conditions where we have to suppress the cough, not in every condition, okay, because it's a helping. It is just like the process of inflammation. Inflammation is basically a repair of the body, but sometimes when it is too much, it becomes a disease. Similarly, cough is also helpful removing the foreign particles from the body, but if it remains in the excess or it is disturbing the things, then we have to separate. For example, if a person who is having a cough, this cough does not allow him or he prevents from him to rest and sleep. Certainly, a person who's going with a persistent cough, he will be unable or she will be unable to sleep or rest. So you have to stop this reflex mechanism for the sleep. So you have to see what are the different conditions where you have to apply this medication. Okay. Chronic cough. What is the treatment of for the chronic cough can contribute to fatigue, for example, in elderly patients. This is another condition that in elderly patient, the chronic cough is also may cause the fatigue into the patient. So rest and sleep in a patient or the fatigue in the elderly patient is one of the indication where you need to give this antitussive drugs. Cough reflex, how to stop this cough reflex? This is a complex process. We will go through the different drugs. Okay, but if I summarize in one line, that cough reflex involve the central and peripheral nervous system as well as the smooth muscle of the bronchial tree. So the CNS, because it is a reflex mechanism from the nervous system, especially the phrenic nerves, nerve 10th of the nervous system. When it is actually stimulated, the cough reflex is there. So either you inhibit the nervous system like peripheral nerve that is conducting the reflex or central system, or the local cause could be the irritation into in the bronchial smooth muscle. So any one of this process can stop this cough mechanism. Broadly, you should know there are two types of cough. One is known as productive cough, when there is sputum, and the other is known as dry cough. The drugs that we are giving, we categorize the drugs as the drug that basically effective in productive cough or in the dry cough. But this is again a complex mechanism of cough reflex. This cough reflex involves both sensory and motor pathways, meaning the internal laryngeal nerve, a branch of the superior laryngeal nerve. This basically carries the different pathways, and this is basically facilitated or carried by the central nerve or cranial nerve 10 into this. So anything that irritate or stimulate the laryngeal nerve, which is a part of the 10th cranial nerve, this basically produces this cough mechanism. So all you have to do is to stop the stimulation of this pharyngeal nerve or the 10th sensory nerve. Okay, this is the mechanism how diaphragm works. Okay, the air goes on. I think this is not of much concern. Important thing is that the cough can be treated broadly by the two categories of the drug. One is antitussive that we are discussing today, and the other thing is the expectorant. Okay, antitussive means you just stop the cough process. Okay, You inhibit this process of cough. These drugs are not antitussive, whereas expectorant are those which basically stimulate the cough, and they basically try to clear out the passage. So once the stimuli that is causing the source that is causing the cough mechanism or cough reflex, if you remove this source from the expectorant, you can also suppress the cough mechanism, or the cough will be automatically will stop. But the other way, antitussive, we do not take care of whether the purulent material remain in the lungs or not. We just stop the mechanism. So treatment of cough could be antitussive, could be expectorant. You should also know that the cough could be defined as acute or chronic depending on the duration. The cough that basically lasts less than 3 weeks known as acute. The cough that basically lasts for more than 8 weeks or 3 months usually we call it. This is known as the chronic cough. Cough can be unproductive or productive, this we already discussed. The main thing that we come with the pharmacology is how to deal with this drugs. So the drugs that basically come in this condition could be cough suppression. One, that is we are discussing antitussive. This cough suppression could be centrally acting antitussive drugs or peripheral antitussive drugs. Both drugs could come in this category. The other way to deal with the cough is expectorant. That we know that we take out the source of this cough reflex. Then the antihistamines, because most of this cough is due to allergic reaction, you can give the antihistamine as well as. And obviously, if the local cause of there is a bronchoconstriction, then we give the bronchodilator. So cough can be dealt with either one of these category as antitussive like cough suppressants, cough expectorants, antihistamines, and the bronchodilator. So we start with the cough suppressant or the topic today, antitussive. The centrally acting drugs can also be further classified. One is known as narcotic opioids, and the other is known as non-narcotic opiates. Opiates are basically the main class that is used as antitussive, and then they are further divided into narcotic or non-narcotic. The drugs that commonly used in the narcotic, we have codeine, very well known. Most of this syrups of cough syrup, they contain this codeine, codeine, hydrocodone. They are actually the isomer of this codeine. So narcotic opioids, we have codeine, codeine, hydrocodone. Whereas in non-narcotic, we have dextromethorphan, levopropazifene, and noscapine. Dextromethorphan is also very well known compound. You would see on many of these cough syrups, dextromethorphan is this is a non-narcotic opioid. In non-opiate, the first one both were the opiates, but one was narcotic, the other one is non-narcotic. We have also the non-opiates centrally acting antitussive drug, and that comes the diphenhydramine and benzonatate. So the classification is important. You should remember, you should understand which one is narcotic opiate, which one is non-narcotic opiates, and which one are the non-opiates. So the first one we discussed is basically the centrally acting. This is the classification of centrally acting antitussive drugs, and we categorize into three ones. The other one is the peripheral antitussive drug. The peripheral drugs, we have dimensions like Linctus, lozenges, liquorice. These are the different syrups that comes. Inhalations, we have aerosol inhibition, benzoin, menthol, and in the local anesthetics, we have benzonate and nilocaine. So they are the basically peripheral antitussive. So most of the talk would be towards the centrally acting drugs. We also defined cough expectorant. And cough expectorant, we have ipecacuanha, ammonium chloride, potassium chloride. They are basically the expectorant. Then we have so these are the drugs that are acting reflexly. Okay, so some of these drugs are acting other drugs are basically uh, okay. The other drug basically act directly. So potassium iodide, guaifenesin, or guaifenesin is basically the directly acting. Then after expectorants, we have mucolytics. Mucolytics are basically drugs that basically liquefy the sputum. So they are known as mucolytics. In this category, we have acetylcysteine, even known as bromohexane, carbocysteine, methylcysteine. The cysteine group is basically used as mucolytics. They basically liquefy the mucus. When the mucus is liquefied, it basically uh, easy to expectorate or easy to expel out. Again, mucolytic is a drug which breaks down the mucus and make it thinner. Expectorants are basically the which basically expel out the material. Antitussive drugs, if we talk about their specific mechanism, we can say that how do they act centrally? Centrally, they basically depress the medullary center or associated high centers, because we know that the cough is associated with the reflexes from the medulla oblongata. So they depress the medullary centers and associated high centers, or they increase the threshold of cough center. One way is to inhibit the neurons, or other way is to increase the threshold of the cough center. Also, interaction of tussle impulses peripherally in the other way is that either you inhibit the medulla oblongata or you increase the threshold, or you can also interrupt the impulses that is coming from peripherally from the respiratory tract. Uh, Inhibition of conduction along the motor, also motor particles. So this is all about the inhibition of the different nerves that basically carrying out this mechanism. So the other way of antitussive, that you give antihistamine to the patient, because most of the time the cough reflex is due to an allergic condition. What are the different antihistamine we can give? Like chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine, promethazine. They are the commonly antihistamine drugs that basically used in the cough suppressant. They provide relief due to their anticholinergic action. These drugs lack selectivity for the cough center, and they are basically used in the case of allergic state. There is no efficacy in asthmatic, because asthma is a different condition. This is basically bronchoconstriction, so you have to treat accordingly. In asthma, these antihistamines do not have any role. The other way you can control this cough reflex is basically the bronchodilators. Bronchodilators, basically they are used to dilate the bronchioles, and they can clear the secretion, and they can increase the airflow velocity of the airflow, and they can decrease the cough reflex. This should be used only when element of again this is you have to diagnose whether condition is due to bronchoconstriction. If the condition is due to bronchoconstriction, then you give this bronchodilator. Fixed dose combination of bronchodilators are not preferred. Okay, this is an important point. So you see, the topic of this antitussive drug is not very much broad, or you do not have many things to discuss. Rather, you have the classification is very, very. All you have to remember the different classes that basically are important in this concept. This is basically a summary that you have to understand, that what are the you have to understand the etiology of the cough. What is the etiology of the cough? So if the etiology of the infection, like upper or lower respiratory infection, then you have to give antibiotic. If the cough is due to bronchitis, or basically smoking is the reason, then you have to sedate. The cessation of the smoking is important. If cough is due to tuberculosis, okay, if you see that the reason for the cough is tuberculosis, then there is no value of giving any antitussive drugs. This will not help out. Even if you are giving expectorant, you are giving anti-allergic, nothing will help out because the problem is with the tuberculosis. This is the bacterium that is. So you have to give the anti-tuberculosis. So etiology is very important. Again, if the cough is due to asthmatic, so in the asthma you need to bronchodilate. Have to do bronchodilation. Either you give beta agonist or you give any anticholinergic like ipratropium or corticosteroid. They are important. Sometimes the cough is due to the post-nasal drip, okay, sinusitis. This is very common. People having sinusitis. So this this sinusitis, where this nasal secretion, they are clumped into the upper sinuses of the head. They basically dribbles down and they actually fall into the throat, and that basically causes the cough. So in that case, you have to remove this sinusitis. You have to give antibiotic, nasal decongestion, antihistamine. So important part that we are saying here is that you have to understand the cause of the cough. Once you know the cause of the cough, then you can treat appropriately. The drugs that we discuss in the as an antitussive drug, they are basically this is a blind therapy. Okay, this is a blind therapy when the patient comes to you with in the first case and you are not investigating because investigations are not easy in our setup. So we just start giving any anti. So the important thing in the whole lecture that I would suggest, because these drugs are individually discussed in the other part. All you have to remember the classification of the substances like centrally acting drugs. In the centrally acting, you remember narcotics, opioids, and non-narcotic opioids. In the narcotic opioids, you have codeine, colcodeine, hydrocodone. In the non-narcotic, you have dextromethorphan, levothyroxine, noscapine. Then in the non-opioids, you have diphenhydramine, benzonatate. Whereas in the peripheral, you remember the different drugs like blinkers, lozenges, hydroside, benzoin, menthol, and the benzoate. Spectrums are not mainly part of the topic, but you should cover this with this topic. And you have ammonium chloride and potassium chloride. They are these are indirectly acting. Directly acting is potassium iodide and guaifenesin. Mucolytics, you remember acetylcysteine, bromhexine, carbocysteine, and methylcysteine. Again, this I described in the So the classification is very important. Three classification: expectorant, mucolytics, and the central and peripheral acting. This is basically the theme of the. Otherwise, things are easy. Antihistamine can also be covered, but they have already discussed differently. Bronchodilators have been discussed in this your module. We have discussed different antihistamine and the bronchodilator. Now, okay, so just keep focus on classification. Otherwise, there's nothing much to describe. The mechanism, remember that the nerves are basically stimulated and you inhibit either at centrally at medulla oblongata or the peripheral nerves, especially this vagus nerve was tense nerve, and then you have to see the local stimuli